God bless you all. My name is Jonathan Ko. Just making this video to let you know that the Apocrypha is false, and the Lord has revealed this to me. The Apocrypha is false, and the Lord has revealed this to me. He's confirmed it. Yesterday morning in prayer, um, I was the Lord gave me a vision of one of my pastors. And meaning one of the pastors when I was in prison, and he was explaining to me how the Apocrypha was false. He was bringing it back, meaning he was bringing back the discussion that we once had concerning how the Apocrypha is false. And because that was one of my first books that I've had. When you go to jail to prison, you can't bring the things that you had from jail to prison. So when I went to prison, I didn't have my Bible, and so I got a new Bible, and my Bible was the Apocrypha with the traditional Bible. It was just one book, and so I've learned from this, and so yeah, so in that back then when I, like I said, when I had that experience with my pastor, one of my pastors, he was also a fellow inmate. I had at least 3 pastors there, all part of the same congregation. But yeah. So anyway, he said, that it's false, and the reason why he said it's false isn't the reason why I just found out it's false, but nonetheless, God revealed that to me, and so the reason why he said it's false is because he said is a scripture that says Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did not sin, and at the time I received it, but I went back, as we can do with our soul. Our soul has reasoning. We reason, and so one of the reasons why I was reasoning is because I thought to myself, well, maybe that is concerning not being a practitioner of sin, but just, they had no sin as being a practitioner of sin. You know what I mean? Because when it says in scripture, if you sin, you're of the devil, that's talking about being a practitioner, one who just, this is what your practice is, this is your occupancy, this is what you do. Okay, so that's how I received it, but nonetheless, I was blessed by a YouTube subscriber, actually, who challenged me to not only seek God, but to go a little bit more in depth. And so what I did was I recapped and looked at some scripture, and the Lord, He showed me right there. And the thing is that God also wants us to look at the obvious, because I already saw in the book of Tobit where it explained, and I know you guys might look at me like I'm crazy, wow, like, but it explained how Tobit was told to take the entrails, which are the guts basically, out of the or the insides out of the fish, and to burn it, and that'll get rid of the evil spirits. And so I was like, what's that? You know what I mean? But I just kept on reading because of so much truth. And so that's how Satan works. Because see, Satan knows that a little leaven leavens the whole lump. That's why he's gonna put a little leaven. Because he knows that the rest of it appears to be true. Okay? And it's the same thing. I mean, people can look at me like I'm the one that's crazy and stuff, but it's the same thing that happens pretty much to all of us, how he tricks us. He tricks us to sin with Christmas, anything he does. It's just anything. Whatever things that we do that become vanity, that become this, that, doctrine. It's just how he works, you know what I mean? He just sprinkles a little bit, just enough to have you, open. And so yeah, I thank God that what I can say to y'all is that I've never said anything false out of my mouth to you in any of these videos. I just want y'all to know that. You can go back, and if you all can be a help to me, anything that you see in any video concerning me mentioning the Apocrypha, meaning speaking highly of the Apocrypha, I'll delete it. Okay? I'll delete the video and I'll do it again. because of you all. This is for the sake of the people. I'm esteeming you all above myself, and I hope this is being made evident to you, that I'm desiring to esteem you above myself. And because yeah, I'm trashing the book. You don't have to worry about the book being trashed. You know, I'm publicly letting it be known that the Apocrypha is false. Uh, but I want you all to realize that you do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because I said the Apocrypha is false, that doesn't mean that the Epistle of Barnabas is false. Because many people might hear what I'm saying now and might think, okay, then these extra books that he reads, which I don't view them as extras still at this very present time. I don't view them as extra. But a lot of people don't realize what was in the Apocrypha. So I'm going to let you know what was in the Apocrypha, because, for example, the Didache, that's not false, okay? That's the teachings of the apostles, or the what is that book called? The Epistle of Barnabas. That's not false. You understand? That's a beautiful book. I wish to God that book was accepted. But however, it's not. But there's no falsehood whatsoever at all. Okay, period, in that book, and that book is not from the Apocrypha. I want you all to know that. Okay, because people might because if that's the case, you might as well not, you know, subscribe to my YouTube videos and listen to me, and you might as well not have a pastor who preaches and hears from God. And you also might as well not I don't know, buy a book from a man of God who had a revelation. You might as well just not buy it. You know what I mean? We learn. This is how we're led by the Spirit. And, you know, and if you just want to read the Bible, just read the Bible. I don't condemn anybody and speak as if you're not, you know, less anointed if you just read the Bible. All my favorite pastors just read the Bible, and I speak highly of these men of God. Derek Prince, Paul Washer, what is his name? What's the guy's name? My top two favorite pastors pretty much are Leonard Ravenhill, Derek Prince, and David Wilkerson. Those are my, and I like Paul Washer, but my top three, they're all dead. Leonard Ravenhill, David Wilkerson, and Paul Washer. Excuse me, and Derek Prince. All right, but nonetheless, I do thank God for you know, other men of God and women of God. I appreciate the person who even shared that with me to challenge me concerning the Apocrypha being false. Now I'm going to share with you what is in the Apocrypha, what books to not receive, because when you think the Apocrypha, that's just a summary, okay? But I just want to give you the breakdown of what books are in the Apocrypha. So if you see that I've given any video that didn't have these books, you don't have to be on guard, okay? So these are the books that are all in the Apocrypha. Okay, First Esdras, Second Esdras, and Esdras is Ezra. Okay, so First Esdras, Second Esdras, Tobit, Judith, Book of Esther, or the additions to the Book of Esther, Wisdom of Solomon, Ecclesiasticus, or the Wisdom of Jesus, son of Sirach, Baruch, the Letter of Jeremiah, the additions to the Book of Daniel, the Prayer of Azariah, and the Song of the Three Jews, the Song of the Three Holy Children in the King James Version, the History of Susanna, the History of the Destruction of Baal and the Dragon, the Prayer of Manasseh, in the Roman Catholic canon, First Maccabees, Second Maccabees. Now, understand this. That doesn't mean that every one of these books are just filled with falsehood. You understand? I'll share with you some of the falsehood that's mentioned. Alright, Tobit 6:5-7, magic. It's falsehood, okay? Tobit 4:11 teaches forgiveness of sins, that they come through works alone. And Tobit 12:9 also teaches that forgiveness of sins comes through works alone. Second Maccabees 12:43 Offering money for sins of dead people. Okay, now that's insane. Okay, Judith 1:5 speaks of Nebuchadnezzar and how he was the king of the Assyrians when he was really the king of the Babylonians. Okay, so let's see. Let me see something else here, because I went online afterwards and I saw something else that was also questionable. All right, now something else that's very questionable is or that's just outright false. How okay the what is it? Purgatory. This is what purgatory derives from. And it also explains how in this site is also explaining how many in the Catholic Church reject the Apocrypha. Okay, but nonetheless, nonetheless, I want you also to know that the Catholic Church is false. Okay, I'm not saying that there's Christians who are Catholic who just don't pray to Mary, and they don't pray to the disciples, and they just focus on Jesus. There could be some out there who who just don't pray to Mary and don't pray to the disciples. But at the same time, why are you Catholic? Then you might as well just be a Christian. So I just want to encourage y'all and enlighten y'all and make corrections. Sorry about that book. I just want to make corrections about that book. So my slate is clean. My slate is clean. However, yes, I do still read lost books. I do still read lost books. I do. Even in the conversation that I had, as I said, with my brother, that we were going back and forth about, I was speaking from the book of Saint Ignatius to the Magnesians, and I did finish reading that book, and nothing's false in that book at all. Nothing's false. He was saying, do not Judaize Christianity. He was speaking against Judaism. He was saying that he was just coming against everything sinful, and he wasn't speaking legalistic, because a lot of these books, you'll realize, actually are legalistic. A lot of these books don't just outright speak about, hey, have sex with boys, and and smoke a little, whatever, and drink a little whatever. It's not saying all that stuff. It's a lot of this stuff is also speaking about legalism. Okay, like you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you have to do this, and all this stuff that you have to look close to the scriptures, because you can get a demon of legalism, which might say no, you have to keep the Sabbath day. You can get a demon of that that carries that doctrine. It's a doctrine of devils. Okay, anything that keeps you bound is a doctrine of devils. Okay, you have people who could look at this video and say, he got it wrong or something, but then you tell you that you have to go to church and be under a pastor, even if that church preaches this that's wrong. However, even though they preach this that's wrong, it's okay, and you'll just still stay there. Like that no, like if that stuff that you're saying is wrong can hinder salvation and can cause people to be bound by sin and spirits of darkness, then yeah, you're now being false. Okay, so clean your slate as well. Okay, yeah. So anyway, it's all about being free. Being free. You know what I mean? Being free to read books and find out that they're false and remain your salvation, like nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? And being free to tell your buddy he's false and not fellowshipping with him no more, because you're not gonna compromise. It's the same thing. So I bless God. I love you all, and yeah. I think one of the main reasons why we can be false is not because of what we read, but because of what we teach. And I've never taught you all anything false. I repeat, I've never taught you all anything false. Even in my quotes that I picked out of the Apocrypha, nothing was false. Tithes are still false if anyone tells you to. It's a mandate to tithe in the New Testament. That's a false teaching. Okay, and Tobit did mention that. However, Tobit didn't mention how it was false, but Tobit mentioned how there were 3 tithes, and Jesus said that you tithe cumin, mint, and dill. So I was like, wow, okay, 3. And then in Amos, you realize that there was 3 tithes as well. So, and then there's a year of tithing, and so I do thank God because He allowed that to be shown to me. However, now I'm throwing everything out. So it's cool, and I bless God. I thank Jesus, and thank you all for your cooperation. If you all look at any videos, and help me help you, and tell me, hey brother, you mentioned the Apocrypha in that video, I'll delete it and I'll do it over. You know what I'm saying? I'll delete it and I'll do it over. So thank y'all. God bless.